welcome back to the layout. Betty's down here supervising, and I thought I'd do a quick video about how I build these roundhouse hopper car kits. I want to build a New York Central car, but this is pretty much the exact same kit as this Bessemer Lake Erie 70-ton hopper that I've built probably a few hundred of now. And if you're over 40, you probably know this kit real well, and you can stop watching this video right now. But for my friends and family that are just curious to how I do all this stuff and don't know model trains at all, or if you're younger, go ahead and have your okay boomer moment and see how we used to do things. So you can see this hopper originally sold for $4.98, and I'm guessing this was probably sold in the early 80s, if I had to guess. And I think these are great fleet cars. They don't have all the detail that the newer cars do, but they look pretty good. I mean, you see, the rivet detail looks pretty good. The steps there, the stirrups are molded in, but they're not bad, and the lettering's very crisp. These were great cars for when they came out. And the thing I like about them is they're pretty durable. They don't have a lot of real fine detail on them. And the stance I keep coming to is, if a 25, 30, 40 car train of these is going by, you're not looking at all the individual detail anyway. So let's see what we got here. Alright. Plastic car body. Pretty nice molding. A little bit of sprue mark there in the middle, but put a load in that, you won't see it. And alright, we'll set that aside for a second. And we got a box of parts, a bag of parts, and we got this metal die cast frame. Now, again, for the younger people that may be watching this, this is not lead. I've seen some things on threads where people are like, oh, these lead frames. Even in the 80s, we knew lead was dangerous. This is, well, it's like a zinc, more or less. It's what people in the trade would call pot metal. It's has a pretty low melting point, and you can mold this just like plastic. And it's called die casting. So you can see the ejector pin marks from the mold, and these little things right here. They're supposed to be the covers for the coupler pockets. And up here around the ejector pins, you see some flash. It's a little extra material there. And I'm going to tell you, my background. I'm a mold maker, and this is a pretty clean die casting. Die cast doesn't come out super clean like plastic parts do. This actually looks really good. In fact, I'm pretty sure this has probably been through what they'll call trim die. This would have come out of the mold, and they would have put it in a little stamp that cut off a lot of the excess flash already. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and break off the extra parts here and clean this up with a file, and you can kind of clean some of this flashing up with an X-Acto knife. And I'm going to get that done and test fit it into the car. That's how you know you got it all filed good enough. And once you get good at these, you do this in a couple minutes. So let me do that, and I'll be right back. Okay, we're back. So I've got this all cleaned up here and test fit in the car. Fits in pretty nice. And one thing I do here where I start departing from the original build instructions, is the hole here for the truck to mount and the coupler to mount, and we'll see if I can get it to focus on that. I probably can't. Yeah, probably can't. Yeah, maybe. I don't know if you can see it or not, but I tap those for a number 256 machine screw. And what the kit comes with is these, there it is, these self-tapping, self-threading screws. And every time I've seen one of these roundhouse cars built with these strip out. And then once they strip out, there's no fixing the pot metal. And, oh, hi. There's no really stripping or fixing the pot metal, and there's not much you can do about it at that point, unfortunately. But I found that if you tap these for a number 256, it's much better. So I remember before I got into machine trades, having no idea what people were talking about. So let me just take a minute and talk about screws. So I'm officially making the most boring video of all time here. So number one, the difference between a screw and a bolt is how you apply the torque. So if you apply the torque internally, like a Phillips head or a flathead or an Allen key, that's a screw. If you apply the torque externally, like like a socket wrench, like a hex or something like that, and then it's a bolt. It has nothing to do with the thread. That's a complete side note, but you can see the difference between these threads here. So this screw on the left is a machine screw. The threads are very uniform and precise versus, this kind of high helix, self-tapping, I don't know what to call this, a metal screw or sheet metal screw or whatever. There's more screws in the world than you can imagine. But number 256, this is an inch size. I see people get this confused a lot. Once you get smaller than 1/4 inch, you jump over to number sizes. So example, there's no such thing as a 3/16 screw in machine screws. It's a number 10. A number 10 is approximately 3/16. And then as you get smaller numbers, it's smaller and smaller diameter, and the 56 denotes 56 threads per inch. So this is a number 256, and Roundhouse was pretty smart when they designed these, because they designed the holes to be the right size that you could just run a number 256 tap through there, cut the threads, and not have to drill it. So this is a tap. You can get these on Amazon or anywhere else, and they've got a nice little tap handle here. It's, again, from my mold making days. And the only thing I do is just put a tiny drop of oil, just one little itty bitty drop of oil, and you can tap all 4 of those holes. If you don't use oil, the metal will kind of stick to the tap, and then you'll break the tap off. Even though it's very easy to cut material, it's sticky. So just a little bit of oil will prevent that. So that's my sidebar about using the machine screws. It's a big improvement to these cars. Makes working on them in the future a lot easier. And so anyway, this is all cleaned up. So now on this end with the 3 holes, we're going to add the brake detail. And the brake detail is on the sprue right here. And we'll go ahead and cut those off and get them in. And I just put a little tiny drop of super glue on them, no big deal, and we'll be right back. Okay, well that only took a minute. So got the brake wheel in one end. Again, just a little dab of super glue, tiny drop, and just put it right in there. And there's the brake detail mounted on the end of the car. And of course the brake detail goes under the brake end, which is the B end of the car, for brake end of the car. So every freight car has an A end and a B end. That's true even today. So if you watch train cars go by, you'll note there'll be a little letter A and a little letter B on either end of the car. The articulated spine cars get a little bit more complicated And you'll actually see those will go in sometimes in a weird order. It'll be like, you know, A, C, B. And that's because the B is the brake end of the car. So the middle car gets lettered a different. The very ends have to be A and B. So everything in between gets to be something else. But the B end is always the end with the handbrake. That's my point. So anyway, there's the brake detail. And yeah, by today's standards, this is pretty freaking cheesy. But I want to tell you that, you know, once you get this all assembled, and it's tucked up under there, and there's a whole string of these going by, you look in there and you see, you know, the air cylinders and the retainer, and, you know, it just looks right, and you don't really look at it. What we're going to do next is get the trucks ready, and then we'll get some paint on the frame here. So here's the trucks, and they come with these metal axle plastic wheel trucks, and they actually roll. They actually roll pretty good. But I try to keep plastic wheels off the layout, only because I find the metal wheels really help keep your track cleaner. I don't know what it is about the plastic wheels, but over time, you'll see like whole cakes of crud build up these wheels. And, you know, when you have the fleet of cars that I have, you can't possibly keep all that clean. And the metal wheels, they tend to derail less, I find. Again, that's just my experience. And they're just a nice upgrade. They sound better. So, me personally, most of my freight cars have 33-inch wheels. So this is the Intermountain 33-inch metal wheel. And it's insulated on one side, so, you know, they don't short. And my one word of caution is, and I don't know if I'm going to be able to show this or not, probably the last 10 boxes of these I've bought, they are not engaged. They're a little tight. You probably can't see it there. It's not much, but they're a little tight, and only takes a second to fix it. If you get this little wheel puller tool from Micromark, it will save your fingers a lot, and it just takes just a second just to bring them right into gauge. So let me go ahead and do that and get them in the trucks. Okay, and there's the truck with the metal wheels in them. And if we put that up here, I mean, I know I said the other ones roll pretty nice, but dang. So what we'll do now is I have this little fixture here, just some screws up through a board, and we'll set those trucks on there and get some paint on them too. Alright, welcome to my garage high-tech paint booth here. Just got some satin black, and just going to go ahead and give that a quick shot from a few different angles. Definitely doesn't have to be perfect. You can hardly see it under the car. And this is camouflage brown that you see a lot of people use. And I don't think I'm going to be able to hold my phone here and paint these, but I'll just shoot those, wheels and all. And I'll roll the wheels around a little bit and make sure I get them covered good. But, you know, it doesn't take much, just a nice light coat. Alright, well, here is the painted frame that we cleaned up yesterday. And it just sort of pushes in the bottom of the car there. We'll make sure we get the brake gear on the brake end, B end, and we'll look at the trucks. Okay, so there's the frame all pushed in the car, easy peasy. And you can see that, you know, it doesn't even matter that the exact black is not right. And on my brown Bessemer hoppers, I just use just a plain flat brown, or like a red oxide primer or something, and the color's not perfect, and I'm telling you, it doesn't matter. It's underneath the car. You're going to probably weather it anyway. You don't need to sweat trying to perfectly color match that. It's a waste of time. So now we have our wheels that we remember, right? We painted it wheel and all. So the thing I like about doing this is the, you know, little needle receiver pockets in the trucks were protected from paint. So what I did is I just got some alcohol on this paper towel, and I'm going to put it over this piece of track. And I've seen a few people do this now, but I learned this from Austin Allard. So I call this the Allard method. So just running that back and forth will rapidly start taking the paint off the wheels, which I don't think I got enough alcohol on my paper towel here. A little hard to do and hold the camera. So let me go ahead and do this, but it only takes a minute when you got both hands. There we go, starting to come off. Okay, only took me a minute, and there are both wheel sets cleaned up. And I'm telling you, it makes a big difference doing this this flat camo color. It just looks a lot better on the track, and you actually see the detail a ton better. So now we will take our car here, and normally I would put in these KD number 148s, which is the number 5 that just have the whiskers in them. But I also got a whole ton of good old number 5s from this estate sale I went to. So we'll go ahead and just put the springs in there. We'll put the KDs, and then we'll put in the machine screws. We'll start buttoning this up. All right, so there's that machine screw in there that we tapped, number 256. You can see that just screws in real nice. And just got to get that cover straight, which again would be a lot easier if I wasn't trying to hold the camera. You can over tighten these, so you just want to make sure that the center spring still works. All right, and same thing with the trucks. We're just going to go ahead and put that screw in. And once you get it tight, then I back it off a little bit. And you want to make sure that you got some side-to-side wiggle and stuff there. Otherwise, if it's too tight, it's just going to want to derail. And we'll put this other truck on, and that'll be it. All right, there it is. Finished built car. Rolls a little too easy. As you can see, rolls nice. Just as good as anything you'd buy today. I mean, it should. It's on the metal wheels. And it's got the KDs in it. Pretty good looking car. And this is pretty much how I've built most of my hopper fleet. And the AccuRail kits, I think, are even a little bit easier in these. You don't have to mess with the die-cast frame. But you know, I miss these kits. I look at people building unit coal trains now, and they're paying $40-50 a car, and I just can't get my head around it. You know, I get these, you know, I try to get them for closer to $10 a car usually, and then I figure it's about $1 an axle for the metal wheels and $1 a coupler or so. So, you know, I've got 15-16 bucks in them by the time I get it together, but still, I mean, I build 3 or 4 of these for the price of one now. And like I said, they roll just as good, they couple just as good. And okay, so maybe they don't look just as good, but can you honestly tell me you're looking that close when, you know, a 30-foot string of them are going by? Anyway, I really like these kits. If you've never built one, I'd recommend giving them a try. They're kind of fun. And they don't take too long, especially once you build your first couple. They really don't take long. So I probably got, I don't know, altogether half hour, a little more than that in this. Anyway, hope this wasn't too painful to watch. And if you've never tried building a kit like this, go give it a try. It's fun. All right, see you guys next time.